are you? Me? I know who I am. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
What? I don't really know what kind of dude that guy is, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna find out sooner rather than later. Anyways, welcome back, true believers and all you merry Marvelites, to another really interesting Avengers project related video. And in today's video, we do have some pretty exciting news regarding a status update from Square Enix, who is indeed the publisher behind the upcoming title of the Avengers project. Specifically, they were involved within a recent article in Game Informer, and it was involving the most recent games that they are making, and one that is scheduled to release sometime within this year of 2019. And even though it doesn't directly say the Avengers project relating to which title is coming out this year, there are a lot of factors that do indicate that that is indeed the case. And seeing how this statement from Square Enix is the most official thing that we do have relating to the status of this game's current development, I do feel very confident that it will eventually release later this year. But to go into the Game Informer article itself, it does state Square Enix expects a major game release later this year. And as this article is written by fellow Game Informer editor Irman Khan, he does go on to state Square Enix recently released their financial reports for the last quarter and took questions from investors about how the company is doing business. In one of those questions, the publisher behind games like Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Tomb Raider, and more indicated that there are some big things on the horizon. While the company refused to go into details for the upcoming 2020 financial year, Square Enix president Yusuke Matsuda asked people to look to the road to E3 later this year for more announcements. On its own, this is a fairly innocuous statement, but it is combined with an expectation of extremely high revenue income in the third quarter, which would be around winter of this calendar year. When asked about why the company expects such a huge boon in the third quarter, Matsuda wouldn't answer. Along with Square Enix's self-professed mission to try and shorten the time between announcements and releases, which may be quite relative coming from a company that infamously will announce games 5 to 6 years before they hit store shelves, it seems like Matsuda is hoping to reveal something big this year and sell it before the end of the calendar year. Considering Kingdom Hearts 3 is already out, there's very few options for what could cause a surge in operating income that quarter. One possibility is Square Enix's announced but thus far secretly veiled Avengers project. With Avengers Endgame releasing this year and no further Avengers movies announced, Square Enix likely feels a lot of pressure to get the game out in 2019. Another option is the Final Fantasy VII remake. The original intention was to release the game in parts so as not to cut anything, but after firing the original developer contracted to work on the game, Square Enix brought development into its own studios and stated they won't be talking about it until Kingdom Hearts 3 is out. Now would be as good a time as any to show what that game is now that it's been rebooted, if the first part is ready to go. In the same report, Square Enix explained that both Just Cause 4 and Shadow of Tomb Raider's initial sales did not meet expectations, which they attribute to both games lacking novel experiences that players could connect with in a competitive landscape. It is unlikely their big title is a game in either of those series. And given what Irman states throughout this entire article, I definitely agree with almost all of his points. As we know already, it was announced back in January of 2017 that Square Enix was going to have a multi-game, multi-year partnership with Marvel Games, creating a bunch of awesome titles, starting off with the Avengers project. But ever since that announcement back in 2017, revealing that the main developers working on it is indeed Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and of course Square Enix Publishing, we haven't gotten anything official about it ever since that day. And even though we haven't caught a single glimpse of what the gameplay for the Avengers project is going to be, I still believe it will actually release this year within 2019. Not only do I thoroughly believe Mr. Matsuda's statement saying that we are going to expect something very interesting within this year's E3, but I also think that it is the Avengers due to the hype that Avengers Endgame is going to bring in April. Now, even though it is confirmed that the Avengers project is not a movie tie-in to Avengers Endgame, I still think that is the title that they are talking about that will potentially release later within 2019. Mainly because once Avengers Endgame releases in April, a whole lot of people are still going to be fully hyped with all the Marvel greatness that is happening within that month, as well as feeling a bunch of passion for the Avengers in general. Especially since everyone at Crystal, Eidos, and Square are deep in development with the Avengers project ever since its announcement. Especially before that, I do think they would have more than enough time to fully finish developing the game once it does come close to the end of 2019. And furthermore, given what Mr. Matsuda does say within this article, I do think the game will potentially release either in late summer or early winter. And to narrow it down even more, I do think it may have a similar launch window just like Spider-Man PS4 had, where it did release in the fall of 2018, specifically in September, and even though I don't know it may release in that same month, I do think it will release around that season of 2019, specifically in the fall. That way, almost everyone at that time would have seen Avengers Avengers Endgame in theaters, and especially if what Mr. Matsuda is saying to look out for E3, everyone would have seen the gameplay demo for the Avengers project be shown off at E3 2019, which will take place in June, mainly at Microsoft's conference. And the primary reason why I single out Microsoft out of all the other companies is because it is confirmed that Sony is not attending E3 this year, and we do know that Ultimate Alliance 3 is a Nintendo Switch exclusive. So out of all the other companies that would show off new games, I do think Microsoft is the most appropriate place to look out for new gameplay of the Avengers project. And even though there is a slight chance that they could be talking about the Final Fantasy VII Remake, I still think that there is a lot of evidence pointing to that it will in fact be the Avengers project instead. So knowing that Avengers Endgame will release in April, followed by a potential gameplay demo of the Avengers project at this year's E3, and ending it with finally the game hopefully launching by the end of 2019, I do think we are scheduled for a lot of Avengers hype that is coming really soon. And knowing how long we've had to wait for more info and footage of this game, I just really hope that the wait is indeed worth it when we do see more of it. But with all that said, everyone, that's the video that I have for you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think about this Game Informer article, and more specifically Mr. Matsuda's statements about this year's E3? For me personally, I am very curious to see what Square Enix has up their sleeves, and I just really hope that whatever the Avengers project turns out to be, it will be something just as special as what Spider-Man PS4 was. Especially seeing how successful Spider-Man PS4 was for everyone involved, and what a good game Ultimate Alliance 3 looks to be like, I really hope the Avengers project can be on those same levels. And until we do receive more news about this mysterious game, thank you all so much for watching, everyone. Stay merry, Marvelites, and finally, peace out.
You're scared. I ain't scared. Scared of what?
We're scared of who?
Scared of who?
Come on, guys, we really need to go! Scared of you. Jesus.